Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down the mathematical law that lets casinos build empires. And, it's what really separates consistently profitable traders from literally everyone else. It's this idea that puts our human impatience up against the cold, hard reality of stats. Let's jump in.
This right here gets to the absolute heart of it. What it's really saying is that so many traders are out there endlessly searching for a perfect strategy, and they're completely missing the real problem. It's not that their edge is broken, it's that they just haven't given it a large enough sample size to actually prove itself. And, this lack of data, it leads us right into this super common mental trap, what I like to call the 20 trade trap. It's the reason so many traders ditch perfectly good systems right before they're about to pay off. Okay, so picture this. A trader takes a handful of trades, maybe 10, maybe 20, and decides right then and there if their strategy is a golden ticket or if it's complete garbage. But here's the thing. With a sample size that tiny, your results are pretty much just random noise. I mean, it's like flipping a coin 20 times, getting 15 heads, and then screaming to the world that you've got a magic biased coin. The conclusion? It's just statistically worthless. All right, so how do we break out of this trap? Well, it takes a complete shift in how you think. You've got to stop thinking like a gambler, hoping for that next lucky streak, and start thinking like the casino, which runs on pure mathematical certainty. Just look at the difference in focus. It's night and day. The gambler, they're obsessed with the outcome of the very next event. They live and die by short-term luck. The casino? They couldn't care less about one spin. They only care about the long-term math, because they know their tiny little statistical edge becomes a certainty over millions and millions of tries. They're not asking, is this spin going to be a winner? No. They're asking, is our overall edge profitable?
So, to really think like the house, you have to understand their secret weapon, a solid, quantifiable edge. Let's break down what one of these looks like, even a really simple, boring one. Okay, first up, let's say our strategy has a win rate of 55%. And this is so important. It doesn't have to be right all the time, just slightly more often than not over the long haul.
Now, when a trade wins, we make exactly what we put on the line. We'll just call that unit of risk R. So a win gets you a nice +1 R. Simple, right? Risk $100, you make $100.
So it's simple math. If we're winning 55% of the time, well, that means we're losing 45% of the time. And that's the key takeaway here. With an edge like this, you are still going to be wrong almost as often as you are right. And on the flip side, when we lose, our loss is capped at that same one unit of risk, so -1 R. Risk 100, lose 100. It's a clean 1-to-1. Okay, now let's put it all together and find what's called our expected value, or EV. We just take our win probability, that's 55%, and multiply it by our win, +1 R. Then we subtract our loss probability, 45%, times our loss, 1 R. And what do we get? We get a positive 0.10 R. That is our edge. It's small, sure, but it means that on average, over a ton of trades, we expect to make 10 cents for every single dollar we risk. Okay, now this is where it gets really fun. We've proven we have a mathematical edge, right? But what does that actually look like in the real world? Let's run a simulation and see what happens as we crank up the number of trades, and we can watch the random noise slowly turn into statistical truth. So let's start small, just 30 trades. This is that magic number where so many traders just give up. So, what do you think is going to happen? Well, it's total chaos. At this tiny sample size, their results are all about pure dumb luck. Just random streaks of wins and losses. Even with our positive edge, there's a really good chance you'll actually be losing money here. This is that 20 trade trap we talked about, playing out in real time. And this is exactly where most people throw in the towel. All right, let's keep going. Let's push past that initial pain and ramp it up to 100 trades. Is the picture any clearer now? Nope. As you can see, it's still a jumbled mess. The signal, our actual edge, is still completely buried under all the noise of just randomness. Yeah, your odds of being profitable have gotten a little better, but you could easily still be losing money, questioning every single thing about your strategy. Okay, now we're going to take a huge leap forward. What happens when we really stick with it and hit 1,000 trades? Whoa, now this is a dramatic shift. What you're looking at is the distribution of all the possible final outcomes. See those two bars? The huge one on the right shows that the vast majority of paths, we're talking like 80% of them, are now ending up profitable.
Sure, you could still lose money, but it's becoming way, way less likely. The real math of our edge is finally starting to shine through.
And for the grand finale, let's see what happens at a truly professional level. 5,000 trades.
And there it is. At this point, the law of large numbers is completely in charge. Look at that. Almost every single possible path is trending up. Losing money now, that's become a huge statistical anomaly. And here is the biggest lesson of all. The strategy itself never, ever changed. That 55% edge was there from the very first trade. The only thing that changed was giving it enough time to work.
Okay, so understanding the theory is one thing, but actually putting it into practice, that takes real discipline. A pro doesn't just know this stuff, they live it. They build their whole process around it. Let's look at the kind of checklist they'd use.
So a professional trader is constantly asking themselves these 4 questions. Number 1, how many trades does my specific edge need before the randomness starts to fade away? 2, can I actually stomach the losses that are guaranteed to happen along the way? 3, after you factor in all the real-world stuff like commissions and slippage, is my edge still even there? And maybe the most important one, am I betting small enough that one bad losing streak can't just wipe me out completely?
I think this quote just says it all. Look, your job isn't to predict the future on the next 15 trades. Your job is to be the casino manager. That's it. Build a system with a positive edge, manage your risk like a hawk, and then just execute over and over and over again until the math does its thing. So I'll just leave you with this one thought. Take a really honest look at how you trade. Are you just reacting to the random noise of a few trades? Or are you actually giving your edge enough breathing room, enough trades to let the math work for you? Thanks for joining us.